Hey everyone, this is Tricia and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to put together this mini berry Christmas wreath. This is in a vintage style. Now I've created several of these and I have decided to also put the little birds that I made in a previous video hanging off of these. These little wreaths are super simple using some berry sprays that I already happen to have. But you can find these at Hobby Lobby, Walmart, Michael's, stores like that, or even order them online. Now, if you want to see how I put these together, keep on watching. Alright, so like I said, I'm going to use these two berry sprays. Now, I've used these for quite a few years now. I tuck them into the branches of my Christmas tree, and this year I decided I wanted to do something with them. So I'm just going to straighten this out because, I had it all bent here. So see, you can recycle items that you may already have. So here we go. We're just going to take these two and line them up like so. I don't want these berries to overlap these other ones too much. Just about right here. And then I'm going to move these berries stems out of the way here. And I will use the end of the other spray that's up here to wrap around and grab on to that second spray that I place at a lower position. Just wrap it around. And this is why we're moving the berries, these little branches out of the way so we can wrap around. Now once we get close to one of them, we can move it over and then just keep wrapping. And as you can see, I'm not doing like a really, perfect look here. I'm not even going to be using any floral tape to hide any of this. I kind of like that wrapped look. All right. Once I have that, I can now put these back into position. And then I'm going to bend them so that I create a little wreath shape. And now remember, I have this end here. And that end will now wrap around over here. So we're going to move some of these stems out of the way, these little branches. Bring it over. And then just wrap that right there. Okay, once I have it wrapped, I can push back these little branches. And then some of them might be a little loose from, the years of, handling them. Some of these little branches. So what you can do is you can just wrap them around because they're wire. Just wrap them around like so. And everywhere I feel like maybe it's a little long or maybe, too many are sticking out, then I will wrap them around the wreath. So you get all tangled up here. That's okay. All right, so I'm just going to move this one out of the way so I can grab this one and wrap it around right here. And I think this one as well, I'll just wrap it around a few times just to shorten it a little bit. You don't have to do that. This is completely optional. Okay, I had one little berry here that fell off and I can just hot glue it onto the wreath in a moment. All right, we're going to continue. You just don't want any of your little sprays like all bent up like that. You just want to straighten up the little berries and tangle them as much as you can. You just have them go in different directions. Some going inside of the wreath. That'll fill in that little empty space there. And just like that. Okay. Then I took a couple of pieces of ribbon. And you can make a little bow if you want. I just took simple little strands here. And I've got a little piece of chenille that I've wrapped around. And then I'm going to wrap that around my little wreath. Anywhere on my wreath. Probably, you might want to look for like the most bare spot. Okay, so there we go. Our little ribbon's on there. This one's a little loose. I'm going to remove it so I can go ahead and hot glue it back onto my wreath. I'm going to tuck it in between where things are kind of wrapped around each other. I'll grab another one here. You can also trim them off and just glue down the little berry. Just glue down that little head of the little ball, little berry ball. Just glue it right on down. You can use it to cover up some little spots on your wreath. All right, yeah, I've got one here that's kind of rogue, so I'll go ahead and do that. A little glue on it. Put it right here where there's a lot of loose floral tape. And there we go. There's our little wreath. Super simple. We want to hang it. I could hang it through a branch like that. Just wrap it around a branch like that. But I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit of a string here, a little hanger. This is an elastic string that I have. And I just made a loop, made a knot, pulled it tight. I'm going to trim the little ends there. And then put plenty of glue. Actually, right here in the middle of the bow. Just glue it right in there. Now I have this little stem that I also grabbed from the Dollar Tree some time ago. It was in my stash, so I'm gonna take off a couple of little branches from it, like so. And as you can see, I've been taking some off already. And then I'll just take these little branches and trim them up a little bit. A little bit too much here, too long, and that's just what you feel you want to use. Maybe little pine bits. Now, like I said, you could make a little bow up here. So if you've made a little bow, maybe you don't want to add any extra stuff. But I happen to have this, and I'm going to go ahead and embellish it some more. I think it looks really pretty when you add little bits of, you know, little findings you might have in your collection of stuff. Little leftovers that you've cut from something else. And if you're doing multiples, you don't have to have them all be exactly the same. Maybe you just want to follow the same kind of color scheme, but you don't have to follow the exact same ribbons on all of them or the same little bits of, you know, like I'm using this little leaf here. Maybe you find a pine that you want to use from a bush. Okay, just embellish it however you want. It's super simple. And altogether I've made 6 of them. And then I also have these little mini pine cones. I grab one big one or a couple of small ones, whatever you want to put in there, if you feel like you want to add even more to it. And I do. So I'm going to add this big piece right here and just put it right there in the middle. And that holds it all together. All right, so as you saw, I put a little bird on this one. These are little birds that I made in a video just a couple of videos ago, maybe last week. I don't remember exactly when I posted the video, but I embellished these little birds, and they have these little clips on them. And I thought instead of clipping them onto the branch of my tree, I would clip them to these little wreaths, and they would be much more noticeable hanging off of them, and then just hang this off of my Christmas tree. So there we go. All right, everyone, so there it is, completed. And here is the other one with the little bird right on there. He is swinging around very nicely. I am so happy with these little mini berry wreaths that I am going to go ahead and give myself a big old thumbs up, and I hope that you too will give me a big old thumbs up and leave a kind comment down below and let me know what you thought of my project for today. If you haven't already subscribed and you're enjoying the content of my videos, I'm going to ask that you please subscribe and then choose all notifications so that you can be notified as soon as I upload a video. I want to thank everyone for watching and supporting my channel, and as always, enjoy.